Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now for this video I'd like to talk about a movie on a 4K that I watched there just last night. Now it's on the 88 Films label. It's a special edition and the movie was directed by Aldo Lardo and it stars Flavio Busi, Mattia Merrill and Gianfranco De Grassi, and that movie is called Night Train Murders. Okay then guys, as per usual, before I say anything further about the movie and give me thoughts on the storyline as a whole, along with the rating at the end, I'll just read you the synopsis on the back of this edition, just in case you're not familiar with it. Now this was originally banned in 1976 by the British Board of Film Censors, and a few years later becoming one of the original casualties of the infamous video nasties hysteria. Night Train Murders, also known as Last Stop on the Night Train, is still a forceful and challenging picture. It focuses on two young girls who experience a journey of unimaginable terror at the hands of deranged psychos as they journey between Germany and Italy. Violence, and thanks to its hugely controversial content, the movie is still highly regarded as an exploitation classic. Using the dark terror of the young girl's torment, it juxtaposes it with the season of goodwill, which makes the situation even more unbearable. Visually raw and uncompromising, this is one ride you'll never forget, and I can certainly second that emotion, guys. Oh yeah, what a movie this is. In many ways it's very similar to The Last House on the Left. In fact, you could virtually regard it as a last House on the Left set on a train. Oh, but yeah, the director did a really good job with this movie, guys. I particularly love the contrast between, it starts off like a very Christmassy scene in the streets and that, thousands of people doing their Christmas shopping and that, and then the story moves on then to the two girls, who have the misfortune to encounter these two deranged psychos on this train, along with a very, very dodgy middle-aged woman. Yeah, but oh yeah, really enjoyed this one, guys. Not for the faint-hearted. And I'll just open this edition, guys, and just show you what's inside. They are, guys, all special features there. I've watched a couple of them. I watched the Stephen Thrower one. He's always very good, Stephen Thrower. There's the two psychos there, guys. Yeah, but oh yeah, what a movie this is. Yeah, okay, so it comes in a nice slipcover, and then you've got your nice hardback box. 88 Films are always knocking it out of the park with these releases. You've got your reversible artwork. That's the father of the girls, one of the girls, and then you've got your art card. I think that was from I think it was the Arrow release or 88 Films release, yeah, from a couple of years ago. They've got a lovely lavish booklet all about the movie. Fantastic. Oh yeah, real psychos these are. But the woman that sides with them, she's even worse. She's more calculating and cunning. There's the father again. I'll try not to give away too much of it, guys, in case you haven't seen it. But it's oh, sorry about that. It's a real pardon the pun, a real ride of intense terror, aboard this train. There's the dodgy woman I was talking about who sides with the two thugs. What a cow she is. Real cow she is. Quite surprised, actually, when I first saw her. She was just an ordinary middle-aged woman sitting in one of the, the compartments of the train, and all of a sudden she turns into this cold, calculating, she-devil, Very well done movie, and as I say, very much along the lines of Last House on the Left. But they did a really good job with this movie, guys. Fantastic, yeah. So I'll certainly be keeping this in my collection. Yeah, and there's the she-devil again. Yeah, real bitch she is. Yeah. Okay then, guys. So that's the packaging anyway. I'm just going to give you my thoughts now, on the movie as a whole, and at the end of it, as per usual, I'll give it a rating. Yeah, okay, so yeah, as I say, really enjoyed the Night Train Murders. It's real gripping thrill. As I say, it's not for the faint-hearted. If you don't like movies that involve rape and torture, you're best to avoid this one. This was actually a video nasty, I believe. But oh yeah, some really harrowing scenes aboard the train once the two thugs, when the girls change trains and that, and the two thugs squeeze into the compartment, terrorise them along with that woman, that evil she-devil. All hell breaks loose, yeah. And also, there's an elderly guy on the train as well. And while all this is going on, I'll try not to give too much away about it, guys. I'm just going to tell you about this part. he looks through and he becomes like a kind of this like a weird voyeur, you know, because he's just looking at them like the poor girls getting tortured and raped and that. And what does he do? He comes into the compartments and joins in, yeah. And then you see him later on ringing the police and that, you know, reporting the crime and that. But yeah, it just this has got some social commentary in it, this guys, because like it's sort of like its focuses on like the hypocrisy of the upper classes at that particular time. You know, in Italy, there was a lot of, I believe, from what I've read anyway, there's a lot of hypocrisy among the, you know, the middle classes and that, you know, the well-to-dos and that, putting on this, you know, thin veneer of respectability, but at the same time, succumbing to dark impulses. Yeah, oh yeah, very very well done in that, you know, because when you first seeing the characters, the minor characters, you thought they were all right and they were going to help the girls. No way, they joined in. Yeah, oh boy, yeah, real brutal movie. This guys, I class this with movies like The House on the Edge of the Park, and as I just said, you know, The Last House on the Left, very very brutal. But as I say, I love the contrast between the Christmassy scenes in the streets and also, you know, the dark atmosphere, you know, the dark sort of like scenario that's going on here. Once these two girls change trains and that, you know, and go onto this virtually deserted train, and these two thugs, you know, follow them, and you can tell what they are right away when the movie starts, because like that's sort of like they're wandering among the crowds and that, and you see this woman with this expensive fur coat on, and one of them comes up behind and just slits the fur coat right down the back, and the fur coat just falls off the woman's back. Yeah, oh yeah, they're up to all sorts of tricks, guys. You can tell they're really thugs and that, you know, really seedy looking and that, you know, just by their faces and that, you know, real pair of like you know, deviants they really are. Yeah, but what they do to the poor girls and that, you know, I just had one little tiny little, well, not really like nothing really big, but when the girls were getting like terrorized and raped and tortured, they seemed to be a little bit too accepting of it. Like, I'm not saying they were consenting, but they weren't really screaming hysterical and terrified and that, you know, they were sort of like just sitting there big and just like frozen and that, you know, too scared. Well, basically you could regard that they were too scared to move. But it had been a bit more sort of like, I didn't really get the girls' full fear and terror when these thugs were sort of like tormenting them. That's the only issue I've got with the movie, really, guys. I love the ending as well. Yeah, very, very thought-provoking ending and that. But she is a real bitch. She really is, you know. In fact, you know, you might even hate her more than you do the two thugs who carry out the sexual assault and that, you know. Oh, but yeah, guys, if you haven't seen this movie, Night Train Murders, I highly recommend you get yourself a copy and get yourself this if you can afford it. It's a lovely edition from 88 Films and that. It's like packed with a wealth of special features. The Night Train Murders, lovely cover. And as I say, I always look forward to each new release from 88 Films, because they're really knocking it out of the park with these discs and that. But this is a real edge of your seat ride and that, you know. And as I say, if you like movies set on trains and that, involving psychopaths and that, boarding trains and terrorizing people, this is the movie for you. Yeah, I was not bored once with it, guys. The cinematography was lovely, good transfer, good solid cast, and you know, as well as the main characters and that. I like the minor characters as well, the family and that, all getting together. Real Christmassy scenes in this, guys, all getting together in the house and that, celebrating Christmas and that, you know. But then like all hell breaks loose once these thugs, you know, contact these two poor girls and that, you know. But I'll leave it there, guys. I won't go on too much about it. I'll let you see for yourself. Okay then, guys, on to a rating now for the Night Train Murders. I'm going to give the Night Train Murders a 9 out of 10 because that's how much you enjoyed it. Yeah, very, very good movie, very gripping and very harrowing. So be warned, if you don't like these movies, like if you don't like movies like Last House on the Left, House on the Edge of the Park, this may not be your cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. But just be warned about the scenes on the train. They are pretty graphic. Yeah. Okay then, guys, that's it. I know some YouTubers have already bought this movie, and yeah, but in case like any of you haven't bought it, I'll say highly recommend it and that, you know. And as I say, a 9 out of 10 for this. Yeah. But if you have seen it, what did you think of it? Did you share my views? That was a very, very well done thriller and at times very, very harrowing movie. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. Let's get a good discussion going about the Night Train Murders. Oh, but yeah, guys, I can highly recommend this. I was not bored once, you know, and as I say, I could not get over how evil this bitch was. That, I mean, you get the tone's basically set near the beginning of the movie when you first see her in the carriage and that. She's just sitting there like a, you know, an ordinary, like a middle class, an elderly woman, like, you know, and I think she gets up and that, and as she gets up, a load of her sexy photographs fall out of her purse now. So that basically is like, that's like what you call foreshadowing of what's to come, really. She's got like this dark persona, you know, behind this mask of apparent like respectability. Oh yeah, very well drawn up characters and that. Yeah, this is what makes these movies, guys. Very well drawn out characters, no stupid you know, plastic teenagers in the woods like the American movies. These characters, you really felt sorry for the girls and that, you know, really innocent girls and that, just enjoying a trip and that, you know, on the train and that, and encountering these psychos and her. Oh my God, yeah. God, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. I won't go on any more about it. Okay, then, guys, that's it. If you like the video, please feel free to share, subscribe, comment, and all going well, I shall be back again very, very soon with another video. Take care. Bye for now. If you enjoyed watching this video, guys, you might like to check out my website at www.alantoner.com. You'll be able to find out a little bit more about my work as a writer and all the books I have published to date. Thanks for watching.